Today, we're diving into something pretty wild. It's a new theory of everything called observer patch holography. And what it's trying to do is nothing less than reverse engineer the source code of reality itself. And trust me, the places it goes are absolutely mind-bending. Right out of the gate, this theory throws a grenade at our most basic assumption about, well, everything. It starts with a question that feels almost impossible to wrap your head around. What if there's no single objective reality out there just waiting for us to find it? So why kick things off with such a bonkers idea? Well, it's actually a direct shot at solving the biggest puzzle in all of modern physics. The one where the weird world of quantum mechanics and Einstein's theory of gravity just refuse to play nice together. This theory, OPH, says that to build that bridge, we have to tear down the old foundation and start from scratch. In this right here, this is that new foundation. The core idea is that everything we think of as objective, the chair you're in, the screen you're looking at, the planet we're on, is really just a subjective experience. According to this, reality isn't one big thing. It's the stable, consistent agreement that happens where countless different points of view overlap.
This is a massive implication for the laws of physics. In this model, things like the speed of light or gravity aren't some cosmic rules written on a stone tablet. Nope. They're more like the fundamental grammar that emerges, the shared language that allows all these different perspectives to talk to each other and agree on the story of what's happening.
Okay, so if reality is this network of perspectives that all have to agree, how does that actually work? What are the nuts and bolts? Let's get into the mechanics of how this universe is supposedly, well, computed. First up is something called the screen. I want you to imagine a two-dimensional holographic sphere that surrounds every single observer. The theory says this isn't just a metaphor. This screen is the fundamental hard drive where all the raw data of reality, all the quantum information, is stored. Next, we have the patch. See, no single person can see the entire screen at once. A patch is the specific piece of that holographic data that you can access, right here, right now. It's your unique window, your slice of that universal data set. And here we go. This is the most important part: overlap consistency. This is the central rule of the entire theory. It means if your patch of reality overlaps with my patch, like if we're both looking at the same thing, our descriptions of it have to be consistent. This one rule replaces the need for an objective reality with the simple demand for agreement. So, what about us, the observers? Here's the twist. We're not outside the system looking in. In this model, an observer is just another complicated pattern that's being computed on the screen. We're a stable structure that processes information, keeps a record of its own experiences, and helps enforce that consistency rule with everything we interact with. Okay, and this is where it gets incredibly specific. The theory proposes that our entire universe can be described by just two fundamental simulator settings. The first one is called the pixel area. It's this unbelievably tiny number based on the Planck length, which is literally the smallest possible unit of distance. You can think of it as the ultimate resolution of reality. And the power of this idea is just staggering. The claim is that this single number, this fundamental pixel size of the universe, sets everything. From this one value, the theory claims to derive the strength of gravity, the scale of quantum physics, and even the masses of all the elementary particles we know. So the first parameter was tiny. The second one is the complete opposite. It is an absolutely enormous number, roughly 1 with 122 zeros after it. This number represents the screen capacity. This number basically tells us the total size of the universe's hard drive. It's pulled from the cosmological constant, that mysterious energy in empty space that's making the universe expand faster and faster. It sets the absolute upper limit on how much information our universe can possibly hold. So get this. The claim is that just these two numbers define everything. All right, when you have a model where reality is literally computed from just two settings on a holographic screen, you're going to end up asking some pretty big philosophical questions. And from this point, the source material itself goes into some really wild territory, exploring some very speculative ideas that come out of this framework. The argument basically goes like this. If the universe is a computation, then what's the computer? The theory's proponents suggest the idea that it's a simulation, and that it was engineered by our own descendants, creating their own past to guarantee their own future. It's a mind-bending closed loop in time.
And if you take that simulation idea a step further, the source material draws some pretty startling parallels to concepts from religions all over the world. It reframes karma as a sort of moral algorithm written into the code. It suggests that resurrection could be like reloading an observer's saved data from a backup. It even proposes that God could be understood as our future descendants, the ones who created the simulation in the first place. It's a truly fascinating reinterpretation of some very old ideas.
Okay, that is a lot to take in, and it is completely fair to ask if we've just wandered away from science and into the realm of mythology. But, and this is a big but, the proponents of OPH insist that despite all these wild interpretations, the core theory is grounded in physics, and it makes concrete, testable predictions.
And this is absolutely critical. For a theory to be scientific, it has to be falsifiable. There has to be a way to prove it wrong. And OPH actually lays out the specific conditions for its own failure. For example, it predicts that photons have exactly zero mass. If we ever find one that doesn't, the theory's wrong. It makes predictions about information limits. If we ever manage to store more data in a chunk of space than the holographic limit allows, the theory's broken. This is its lifeline back to real experimental science.
So we're left with this massive question. On one hand, you have a mathematical framework that claims to build the laws of physics from the ground up and makes predictions we can actually go out and test. But on the other hand, you have a story that sounds like science fiction crashed into ancient theology. So is observer partial holography the next great revolution in our understanding of the universe, or is it a powerful new mythology for our digital age?